Is Blake Snell a must start? Is Amed Rosario a must add? Let's talk about it next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Wednesday, September 1st. I am Frank Sanford, joined by Scott White. Blake Snell is on some kind of run. 7 no-hit innings on Tuesday against the Diamondbacks. Over his last 6 starts, he's got a 1.74 ERA, 54 strikeouts to just 12 walks. Scott, what is Blake Snell doing differently? Is he a must-add starting pitcher?
He's
must-start starting pitcher, excuse me.
He's doing it about as well as Blake Snell's ever done it before, right? You know, things are going right for him when he has 3 starts in August of at least 7 innings. I mean, that's not something we see from Blake Snell very much. And the changes he's made are pretty simple. He's thrown his best pitches more, his worst pitches less. He threw just 1 changeup in Tuesday's start. He's been throwing his fastball and slider a lot more, showing better command, obviously getting better results, showing why we've long considered him an ace, why he once won a Cy Young award once upon a time. And if he's not must start, he's very close to it. The only I could see maybe sitting him in a 1-start week if you have just a deep pitching staff, but otherwise you want a lot of Blake Snell stats right now. That's for sure.
Amed Rosario went 5 for 5 on Tuesday, including 2 home runs, one inside the park, 1 out of the park. He's having a pretty big second half. He's batting .345, 5 homers, 4 steals, 13 doubles. He's 62% rostered. Is Amed Rosario a must add?
I would stop short of saying that, even in categories leagues, even in roto leagues. I just think for the most part, hollow batting average. You know, that stretch you mentioned, it's like a month and a half. He's hitting about 350, and yet 4 home runs, at least ones that have sailed over the fence, and 4 stolen bases during that month and a half long stretch. I mean, did I get those numbers right? That's not a lot for a guy who's hitting for the average he's hitting during that stretch. And he obviously can't sustain an average that high going forward. So I don't mind a hot hand play this time of year. I just don't think the counting stats, there's enough upside from Rosario that I'd get too terribly excited about what he's doing right now.
It was 5 homers, Scott.
I know, but one was inside the park.
Was inside the park. Yeah, you're right about that.
Does that count? It counts, but should it count?
Yeah, all right. We could debate that another day. We're going to see once September is here, which is right now, some prospects are going to be called up across baseball. Rosters expand by 2. They're going to be 28 roster spots now. Joe Ryan is being called up by the Twins on Wednesday. He's actually going to make a start. He came over in the Nelson Cruz trade from the Tampa Bay Rays, and in 14 games this year, 13 starts in the minors. A 3.41 ERA for Joe Ryan, 0.79 whip, 92 strikeouts over 66 innings pitched. He's 6% rostered. Should we look to add Joe Ryan anywhere?
15 teams and deeper, I'd be ready to take a flyer on Joe Ryan already. There's just not a lot of pitching talent out there, but it's a question. It's questionable how much he's going to deliver for you this year, or even as a major league starting pitcher, because as good as the numbers have been last 2 seasons in the minors, you mentioned this year, he also had a 196 ERA in 2019, great strikeout rate. You don't see Joe Ryan on any top 100 lists, really, at least you haven't in the past, despite those great numbers, because it's mostly just a fastball that he succeeds with. Big spin rate, gets a lot of swinging strikes on it, at least against minor leaguers. But will that work in a starting role against major leaguers? It remains to be seen. It kind of reminds me of Freddie Peralta when he first came up. He had the same issue, and eventually he figured it out. Eventually he worked in a slider, and he delivered some pretty good starts now and then, even before that happened. But it was always going to be a question of how this would translate for Joe Ryan in the majors, and we're about to find out.
It's September, and it is crunch time. Can we drop these struggling veterans? I'm going to throw a bunch of names your way, Scott. You let me know what league size, what format we can drop these players. Andrew McCutchen had a sub-500 OPS in the month of August. He's still 79% rostered.
You could drop him in 3 outfielder leagues.
Mark Canha in the second half is batting .193 with only 2 home runs.
I think you could drop him in 3 outfielder leagues too. Batting average is down to .233, and he's slugging less than .400 on the year.
Tommy Pham has a .647 OPS in the second half, and he has sat out 6 of the last 11 games for the Padres.
Yeah, I think because the playing time issue, you could drop Pham just about anywhere.
How about his teammate, Trent Grisham? 660 second half OPS. He has sat out 3 of the last 10 games for the Padres.
I'd stop short of dropping Grisham in a 5 outfielder league, but I think that's fine in a 3 outfielder league.
Austin Gomber has a 7.56 ERA over his last 6 starts. He's still 72% rostered.
And he's back to walking guys like he was in April. I think you could kick Austin Gomber to the curb at this point, no matter the format.
Carlos Santana has a 497 OPS in the second half, still 83% rostered.
Drop him anywhere. You can't have him in your lineup right now. Keep an eye though keep an eye out in points leagues in case he starts to heat up again. That's always been his format.
For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. If you enjoyed the pod, please leave a 5-star review on Apple. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.